Hello everybody, I'm your host Wheel Trouble, and welcome back to this final episode in my Nightmare Nights 2017 podcast series. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and hear from the voice actresses. Yes, I said voice actresses. This is My Little Pony, what do you expect? Get over it. In this episode, initially we only had two voice actresses billed. It was Andrea Libman, Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, and Shannon Chan Kent, the singing voice for Pinkie Pie. We had a special guest. We had Ellie Ray, and that was absolutely wonderful. She wasn't initially billed, but again, last minute she showed up on Sunday. It was wonderful having her as a surprise guest. Without further ado, let's hear from these lovely ladies.
I know we started a little bit late. These folks have to get to autographs at once, so we're going to do this speed style. Quickly, to go over how the questions work again. Hold up your hand if you want a card to ask a question. One of the two gentlemen will come in and give you a card. You'll write out your question. Hold it in the air again. They'll bring it up. I will sort them. I will ask the questions. My brain is fried, and so is my voice. It's Sunday, but let's get started.
And it's encouraged to draw a picture on your question.
Pardon me?
It's even better if your question comes with a drawing.
Yes, if your question comes with a drawing or is from a kid, it stands more chance of being asked. But while those questions are being written out, if I could ask you to introduce yourselves in terms of the characters that you voice on My Little Pony.
Oh, me? Oh, sure. Hi.
As if these people don't know.
Of course. My name is Andrea, and I voice Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. Where am I? Who am I? On My Little Pony. As well as a few others, like Pumpkin Cake and Bon Bon and Mrs. Cake, or Mrs. Pinkie Pie's mom. Mom Pies, Cloudy Quirks, the Seedling that coughs. Pinkie Pie sounds like this. Okie dokie Loki. Fluttershy sounds like this.
I'm Shannon, and I sing for Pinkie Pie, and I play Silver Spoon, and I also am Lemon Zest.
Yeah, hi guys. How you doing, Every Pony? So glad to be here today. Wow, what a great fandom. I am Ellie Ray. Wow, Ray, fantastic. And I knew, I've done probably 3 episodes playing Missed Me, who's one of the pillars in the Legends. And I also play a couple changelings. And more to come, but
This is your very first My Little Pony convention?
it is.
Huge round of applause to welcome you.
She's one of those like that, well, yesterday anyway, she had that first convention face, which is this.
Well, because of the meat festival.
Yes.
And I've never seen more meat in my entire life. It was incredible.
Is it anyone else's first convention?
Wow.
Are you having fun?
So this is a fun question to get things started with. Have you ever used your magnificent voice acting powers for evil? Or to prank someone, or that sort of thing?
I just get a lot of, the calls. You get a call and it says, "Oh, is your mom or dad there?" I just go, no, and hang up.
Never really evil, but sometimes if I'm in like a bad mood, I'll switch into Whitney and Britney Biscuit. And I'm like, whatever.
The best Pet Shop fans in the audience?
Oh, I do evil. I play a lot of, I voice a lot of male characters, monsters. A lot of crazy. My voice is she, it's, and They're evil, and so if my friends get me to scare people, they'll say, you know, leave this message, be a male voice, and tell somebody else. And it's fun.
Question for Andrea. Was it tough doing a Valley Girl accent while voicing Lily Lace?
No, Valley Girl is the best kind of accent. It's just so fun to do. I feel like it it's second nature.
Yeah.
I want to hear that and the biscuit twins going back and forth.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Are they Valley Girls too? They're like a hint but they're more like, you know, Valley, whatever.
And I'm the monster friend. Shut up.
I don't know, is that what Lily Lace sounded like? Actually,
In fairness, this is something that folks might not know, but that you record your lines for the episodes a good year and a half before the episodes actually air, so it might be difficult for you to record specific characters or episodes.
it is, yeah. And a lot of times the name will change before it comes out because there's so many little processes to a name actually coming up. So in our script, I might just say poem number 3. And then later it's like, oh, remember when you played Lily Lace? And your brain's like, why is that not necessary? Because when I did it, maybe it wasn't that.
Or you'll do a character like Mistmane, who is introduced as the young, beautiful pony with all the magic and all the beauty, and then you have to be the old, wizened sorceress later. So you're trying to do the young voice of her, but remember what it is. Because remember when I came back, I was the old.
Yeah.
I was the old one, so she's got to. You know, she was very. Voice, but I was like, that's when I auditioned for her. I auditioned for her.
I'll tell that you're a kid.
Young girl version of herself, and then an ancient version of herself.
Which shall we go with? So many wonderful drawings now coming in to try. Actually, I've got some questions about bloopers when you're in the recording booth, and also pranks. Have you ever pranked or been pranked in the booth? And what is the most embarrassing thing to happen whilst recording? I'm sensing you might have some stories there.
I mean, we throw paper clips at each other a lot.
Yes!
Not really on My Little Pony though, because it's mostly women. It's a different vibe. It's a lot, usually more calm and
Efficient.
Yeah.
The sessions go
Well,
really
you know,
quickly.
you have gas, which occasionally happens with the, you know, there'll be those instances where you're trying to maintain the belching and the gas expulsion that has a mind of its own sometimes, and that will lead to death. The St. Germain has those issues.
or your tummy rumbling if you're hungry. When you're on the mic.
Kathleen Barr she blames it on me, but every time we're working together, her tummy goes, oh, and she's like, Shannon, it's you. And I'm like, it's not me. She's like, every time I work with you, my stomach's like that. I'm like, maybe you should, I don't know, lay off.
Maybe your tummies are talking to each other.
Yeah. But
Kathleen Barr, who plays Trixie,
Yeah,
who
she plays
needs
Trixie.
some peanut butter crackers.
The extraneous sounds, yeah. Leads to laughter and suppressing laughter, which leads to problems when you suppress your laughter and you're snorting and you're trying to be quiet while other people are.
I'm quite curious as to the answer to this myself, since I'm sitting next to
Do
you.
it.
Are you Tabitha's evil twin? Or is she your evil twin?
No! She's my bestie, so, you know, I've seen it all. I get it all. I know it all.
This is a question for Andrea. Are there any voice roles you regret not getting that you really kind of were hoping for?
Yes.
Fair enough. The reason I asked is because they did you a delightful drawing and appended the caption, I tried, sorry, I failed, go me. They were
I
following your
can keep that for the
instructions.
next failed audition.
Goodness me. Questions regarding how you first got into voiceover from, I believe that's Barbara. whose convention this is their first convention. So
Ooh,
welcome.
awesome.
It's a question that comes up a lot at cons, but your first con, so I'm sure they'll be happy to answer it for you. Whoever would like to chime in?
Okay. I first got into voiceover. Well, I started out in theater, and my agent scouted me doing a theater production when I was 13 or 14. And he sent me to my first voiceover audition, which was My Fair Madeline. And I ended up booking it. And I felt like it was a natural, I guess in theater you need to be uninhibited and kind of crazy. And I just felt like voiceover was kind of, it came naturally to me because I know there's glass and people on the other side of the glass. But I just, that's how I started doing theater. And then I just went to one audition. And
That's amazing.
yeah, it was,
Most people have to audition for a really long time before they can start saying
yeah. And that was good. I mean, it has not been like that my entire career. But that's how it kind of started for me. So I've been doing it for about 16 years now. Yep.
I also started young. I did film and TV. I started when I was 6. I did movies like Little Women and TV shows like The X-Files. That's right. Did you see my autograph card this weekend? Pixel Kitties did this amazing print. And I asked her to do something X-Files inspired. And there's a fish tank, so that's a throwback to my episode. And then I started kind of the same thing. You have an agent and they just decide what they're going to submit you for and send you to, and started doing some voice things. I remember I was so young, but I was really good at reading, so he thought that voiceover would be a good fit, which is great, so you don't have to memorize, and you can just read what's in front of you. So I started going out. My first series was a show called Dino Babies. And shortly after that, I started on Madeline. So it's been a really long time for me as well.
Wow. I've been a storyteller sort of all my life, but I went to theater school at the University of Windsor, and I was told I would never voice because I have a lot. Yeah, I was told I have a deviated septum, so I only breathe out of one side of my mouth. I have a cathedral ceiling to the roof of my mouth. I'm wet. I'm raspy, as you can hear. I've got all kinds of issues with my instrument, and they said you'll never voice. And you'll never do film or television because you're too tall, you're too angular, you're masculine, you're blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, oh,
thanks.
yeah, I know it was great. I'm trying to say today. But then I graduated from theater school, and I was given the voice of a worm that was a doll, like a puppet kind of a thing that spoke, that talked. I recorded the voice of it. And then I just was hired for everything, television, film, and it was just sort of like, oh, I can do it. I guess it really has nothing to do with the way you actually sound, but if you give your storyteller to the world in the right way to the audience, you'll always change the vibration of the planet because you're just giving it. So it doesn't matter, what's happening here and what. I think it's a good adage for especially a fandom like this, where it is about how to connect with one another. That's what the storyteller is. So that I started way back. I won't even go. Dinosaurs were still walking the planet. Like I was a Care Bear, right?
That's
like I was,
amazing.
yeah.
You stuck with it after hearing those.
Yeah, but it's just that's all I do is film and television voiceover. So you are told one thing that you are supposed to be, and no one can really define you.
Do you do theater stuff?
I still do theater. I do film and television every year. I've got 2 Netflix series. I've got 2 films coming out. I've got 2 animation movies coming out. So it's not about
This is a point that actually came up during the artist panel that concluded 20 minutes ago, regarding the importance of listening to the naysayers and taking what they say and using it to kind of fuel your progress forward, to kind of prove them wrong. That can be a powerful tool to inspire yourself and keep yourself moving. Andrea, a question for you that is another perennial classic. I'm sure
You should answer it.
Yeah, do it.
I don't think I can do it justice since it requires, I think, examples. But when Fluttershy and Pinky are having a conversation, how do you get the natural flow going, and how do you switch between them so effortlessly, especially when you don't have another actor to vibe off?
It's just practice. It's like anything. It wasn't always like this, but it's been 10 years that we've been recording My Little Pony, and this is my piano teacher, so I can, when we practice something, we just get better. So Pinkie Pie's always like there. She's just talking like crazy. She's talking really fast. Hey, Fluttershy, what's going on? Do you think you could maybe... No, I can't calm down. I'm crazy. I love being crazy. Let's have a party. Do you think you could maybe just a little bit, maybe just take it easy? No, I can't take it easy.
So the appearance of the effortlessness comes from all of that practice.
Of course. So that's like, I think that's anything. Like, people always make something look easy, but I think everything is how much effort and dedication you have to something.
And she's really good in magic.
Someone is curious as to why there are different actors for voice versus singing, and they'd also love to hear some opera from you, Shannon. Perhaps you could,
No.
perhaps you could maybe
Not
discuss.
singing any opera.
Do it.
Not Andrea is an incredible singer. She is an incredible singer, and I think it was just really fluky. I was friends with Daniel Ingram, the composer. He was trying to pitch for the show. I saw him in Whole Foods, and we had done a show together called Martha Speaks, and he said, "Oh, Jan, I'm trying to get this show, My Little Pony, and do you want to come over and just sing the demo and try and help sell this song?" So I did, and I think I already knew that Andrea had gotten the part, so I could try and sound a little bit like her, but not completely, because I just can't. And they submitted it to Hasbro, and Hasbro loved the song and liked the performance. So that's how that happened for me. But I mean, Andrea can obviously sing circles around me and do Pinkie Pie around, like, no. But
Yeah, no, it's kind of one of those things. It's just, and we don't even, like, it's not our decision, really. I sing for Fluttershy, and
it's funny, we're on another show called Strawberry Shortcake, or we were, and I play a character named Cherry Jam, who's a pop star. But they all knew I could sing. They still didn't choose me to sing. They didn't even allow me to audition to sing for my character. They just hired a pop singer.
it's just weird.
So,
So, like, it's like, yeah.
You know,
I don't know, we're not part of that side of things. We're the performers. So they tell, like, for us, it's like, we need you to come in and we want you to do this. And we do what they say.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
right?
I think it would be helpful if they were like, it would have been helpful if they were like, okay, we need Pinkie
They're
to
like,
sing
hey,
this
do
song.
you want to, like, try it, Andrew?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That
I mean,
never happened.
I'm grateful that she didn't try.
Do it.
Totally. Yeah.
That never happened. We did.
Question here from Vanessa, and anyway, you touched on this a little bit, but just as an actor, I always find hearing about the journey of actors who are doing the things I strive for so helpful. What has been your journey, the highs and the lows? And I guess that also ties into advice that you give to aspiring performers about dealing with those highs and lows as they pursue their own dreams.
I believe that everybody in this room is a storyteller. And we are losing each other because the human connection is communication. And so the stories that we tell, especially if you're pursuing an acting career, you have to recognize that your authenticity is allowed. that your voice is allowed. And you don't have to be like anybody else. And I think what happens when you're trying to pursue a career, Vanessa, I don't know where you are, in theater or film or television, is to remember that you are more powerful than you know, and you are necessary, because our world needs to connect with one another, and we don't anymore because we're on our devices and we don't even communicate, so we long to be told stories, just like My Little Pony. And if you can be the voice of any story, be bold enough to recognize that your authenticity is it's needed. Our world needs it right now so that we can connect to. That's the only way we're connecting to one another. So please be bold and be authentic, and know that you're part of a very huge team of people that are cheering you on. You're not alone in it trying to function inside of it. It's here, and you just show up. You know, you feel like you want to play the game, and you're on the sidelines, and your coach or the casting people won't let you on the field. You're already playing the game. You're already on the sidelines. Just get out there. Say, put me in, get me in, and run with the ball. You don't have to score. You just have to play the game. Just play it. That's why you want to do it. So don't give up on yourself, Vanessa. We're here, and you know we need you.
Genuinely.
So a lot of people, I think, came in after we talked about how the card system works. So how many people don't know how the card system works? How many people have questions that they don't have a card for? If you wish to ask questions of our wonderful guests, put your hand in the air. Steve or one of the other volunteers will hand you an index card. Write out your question, wave it in the air, they'll bring it up here. I will sort them round, try and make some structure of them.
Did you devise it?
It's not mine. Bob and Sandy either came up with it or stole it from... Oh, I'm told it's Jamie's actually. Did you come up with it? Nicely done.
Good.
I stole it from somebody else. Do it.
I like it.
So, meanwhile, we have a question on sort of the mechanics of voiceover work. I would love an answer to this because my throat is killing me. How does a VA have to protect or prepare their voice for a job? How do you maintain your instruments?
I'm really strict with my voice. I think I sacrifice quite a bit for the health of my voice. I don't. For me, I steam. I don't have a fancy steamer, but anytime I feel like my cords are tired or I know I need to sing and heat's going on in my apartment because it's always cold in Vancouver, I just like put boiling water into a bowl, put some like maybe lavender or aromatherapy, and then stick my head in the bowl with a towel and like breathe in all the steam. I go on vocal rest and I text all my friends and family and I say, sorry if you can't talk for the next few days. I don't go to loud restaurants or bars if I don't have to. And I'm usually in bed before dinner. Yeah, I'm kind of lame that way. But when you've been booked on a job and you have to work with 9 to 6, like making different voices all day, you have to be professional and take care of your instrument and take care of your body. Because you are replaceable. Unfortunately. That's true. You're replaceable.
No, but I mean, if you book something, so say you're successful and you go through the audition and the part's yours, and you're starting a job, and then you wake up and you're sick, they'll call number 2, and that job will be gone. And what if that job was the pilot episode of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and you got sick that day? Do you know what I mean? So that's why, for me, I have to be careful at conventions. I have to make sure I rest. So that's just another little thing if it ever comes across as, oh, like, why is she not, you have to be careful, like, hugging people and shaking hands and all these things, and then after the weekend you're sick, and then you're going to miss that opportunity, right? You have to be so careful. And resting, too, and not putting too much on your plate when you're at these things. It's really easy. As you probably all know, you get really caught up. It's exciting. You want to participate in everything. But you have to make sure that you get your rest so that you stay healthy. My voice is extremely resilient. So I don't really have to do maintenance besides trying to stay healthy in general, which is which is really difficult. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think expression is a daily thing, and being involved. I think travel always takes its toll. I did a voice workshop, which is why I was in Texas yesterday, training, and so my voice is tired today because I literally spoke for 10 hours yesterday, teaching a sold-out crowd, and so you're tired, and then you come to the meat festival and you're screaming and hugging and cheering and yay, and it's fabulous. And I work on Monday when I get back with the travel involved. If you don't medicate yourself with homeopathics, which I do all the time, like I think I've got a resilient system, but it doesn't matter. I have cords of steel. Like I said, I don't play the little young voices, which I never did. Even when I was 2, I didn't sound 2, I sounded 90, but you know, you still can, the texture in your voice, it's just from sheer use, because you're doing this with your cords all day long, and like these guys said, you'll just wear it out. So you have to really have a preventative system in place, because everything takes its toll on your voice, and if you're in all day voicing, you have ways of making it sound better. For me, I have the lower characters, so it's not as bad as it would be for these guys that need their bright, young, beautiful things.
I was gonna say, like when I get tired, my voice like goes down here, and like it is so rare I ever voice a character down there, and it's so I get really stressed out because all my characters need to be like up here,
Exactly.
and
all mine are over here. Take care of your vocal cords.
So,
I love that saxophone guy. Let's sort of.
I know, I can hear it.
Like, he's so awesome.
he's been playing that all weekend. I'm curious how he takes care of his lungs. An announcement to make. For those folks who won items in the silent auction, pickup is going to be in the registration room, so please go ahead and pick up your items there. This is a fun one, and you might not be able to answer it yet, but hopefully some fans will have some gifts for you. Favorite gift that you've received from a fan? Or if you don't want to play favorites, just a memorable gift or memorable fan experience.
Amazing gifts. I just find that, I wonder if you find this too, that just people in this fandom are incredibly generous, like just really giving. So I've had some amazing gifts, and like not just material gifts, but also just hearing your stories and your experiences and what you've been through, what the show means to you. That's probably the most incredible gift. But in terms of stuff, really cool things. I have a mug that someone had made for me at Fluttershy, and she says I really dislike Mondays. And I got that recently, and I love it. And I always try and use it. Well, it works for any day of the week, really. Beautiful handmade things, handmade plushies, incredible jewelry, necklaces. This weekend, someone brought me fake Newtons because I was saying you can never find them anymore. Like, just so thoughtful, incredible. So, thank you.
I witnessed through Tabitha coming from cons just for me, which is just why you are so incredible. Like, I've actually, this bracelet I got when I was in Vancouver because she was at Cider Fest, and she came back and there was gifts that were sent to me, and I'm thinking, who are you people? It's like beautiful. It's just beautiful. That's all I've got to say. You're just so giving and lovely.
Question here again about music. They're curious to know your favorite song from the show and why.
I actually really love the music for Equestria Girls. They're pop and super catchy, and I really like it. I like the cafeteria song. From the show, I really like Find Pet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. How about least favorite song? I feel like I sing a lot of the demos, so I'll sing everyone's part in the demo, and I get them. Honestly, I get them so mixed up. This song, Winter Wrap Up, Winter Wrap Up. I was gonna say all of the songs too are on my, just because when I plug my phone in, they like all upload onto my phone, and I'm like, I'll be going for a run, and it'll like Winter Wrap Up, Winter Wrap Up. And it'll be me singing like 6 people, and I'm like, shut up, shut up. But it's all, they're all so catchy in their own way. Even if I'm like, I'll tell Daniel, I'll be like, I'm not really feeling this one, Dan. And then by the end of the session, I'm like singing it on my own for the next 5 hours. You do? Yeah. I also, which is the one that,
No,
Lena.
Lena. Which is the
Hall.
one that Lena sang?
She sings too.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah.
I love that song. And she's great.
See, it's okay if you forget something because they remember.
Yeah, exactly.
So many good questions here. And there was actually one in here somewhere about whether or not you ever get tired of hearing your own voice, your own character. So
Yes.
when it comes up randomly on your phone, it sounds like it's your answer.
Yeah.
Or when you record an audition and then you put it on your computer and then it's like for me, like all my auditions come up and then that one finishes playing and then the old ones start and it's like a loop that never ends. You're like, oh, then it
Get
connects
that
to your
one,
speakers
get that one.
and it's like all throughout the house.
Just a gentle reminder.
Of all the parts you didn't get.
Oh, no.
So you mentioned the importance of keeping your voice healthy because you're, in your words, replaceable. I think the audience would argue that you're all irreplaceable, but that was the cue for applause, yes. But you mentioned that the next person down on the list would get called. This person is curious to know if you ever worry that advancing technology in voice synthesis will render VAs obsolete.
No. Sorry. It's not the same. There's so much more to it. There's so much you can do with your voice, with expression and listening and, like Ellie said, telling that story. And I just don't think that a robot can do that.
Gotta have heart and the soul of the voiceover storyteller. You know, you can never. That's the authentic thing. To authenticate a digital voice, it won't have its soul. It just won't have it. So, no.
Zach is curious to know if recording for the film was different from recording for the show, and if so, how?
It was very different. When we go in for the show, it's a 4-hour call to do a 22-minute episode, and the whole cast is there, usually almost everybody. And we just go in sequential order, scene by scene. We do every scene at least twice. And that's what we're used to as a show. So the movie was way longer, and also the script kept evolving. And I've heard that this is actually really common for an animated feature. So you go in, and it's kind of like a working script, and we're recording it, but we're sort of trying it out to see what's going to happen. And the script that we started with, and then the final movie that you guys saw, were completely different stories. So, and it just kept changing. So over a year and a half, we'd go in again and again and again, and it just kept changing every time. And then there would be some of us there, and we didn't record with the amazing guest stars that were in the movie, the three leads. they recorded separately, so it was kind of this disjointed. And then people came in to do like placeholder voices for the PPs, which we didn't even know who was going to be casted. And actually, Shannon came in and did a great job doing one of those placeholders, like who's it going to be, and we could play off her, and then the story would change. So it was just this really evolving process, and it was difficult because it was over such a long period of time. It would be maybe 2 months since you'd last been in, and then you go in and you kind of want to pick up where you left off. And in between there, you've had 30 auditions, and you've been in the studio a million times, and you've got all these stories, and you kind of have to pick up where you left off. So it was really challenging, actually. I think it turned out okay.
I think folks would agree. Did the film turn out all right? This actually ties in with a question that someone had on how your performance of the character shapes the character throughout the show versus how much of the characterization is coming from the writer. And it sounds like in the film, would you say your performance affected the way that story changed, or were a lot of the changes generated more by the other folks working in the film?
Well, definitely both, but there was a lot of, they would just say, oh, is there a way that can you make it funny? Or what can you bring to this? Or what would Pinkie Pie say? You know better than us. Come up with some stuff. And we did, so it was like brainstorming all the time, and actually our voice director, Terry, came up with a lot of the jokes, because he's like, we need to make this more funny, like let's add this in, let's add that. So it was very, we did have a lot of it, which is cool.
Elliot, you mentioned that you worked on Care Bears. Do you happen to remember which characters you voiced?
Nighttime Bear, which was a sleepy bear that always never woke up. So close to me.
I remember.
Yeah, and a bunch of others. You know, when you do incidental characters, there's it's like these guys. It's like, I can't remember. It was so long ago, but Care Bear. Oh, you just love that.
Care Bear fans in the audience?
I was Harmony Bear on not the most recent Care Bear,
The one before.
And she sang all the time, just like instead of talking, she would just sing, and it was so annoying.
Oh, that's so cute.
But there was no music. There's no music.
That's even better.
There's no music, so they're like, just come up with some stuff.
So you're all over the place.
Yeah,
Which is
and then
fantastic.
they're like, oh no, that kind of sounded like this song. I'm like, I'm just making up.
When they
They're
say
like,
you
oh no,
want
something more happy, and I'm like, but I'm not feeling happy.
I think you should do the rest of the panel like that.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm game if you will.
you're better at it than I am.
I think
That was awesome.
you touched on this a little bit when you were describing between Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie and doing those two voices, but someone is very curious to know which is more fun for you to voice.
Oh, so unfair.
So unfair. I do always get asked in different iterations of the same question. They're both awesome. They're both fun, and they're so different.
And they're both listening right now.
Yeah, they're both listening. I don't want to offend them. But Pinkie Pie is so zany, and she can get away with anything, which I love. Like, she doesn't, no rules apply to her, so I can really kind of go crazy with her, and they actually keep what I do, which is crazy to me. And then, but I love Fluttershy as well, because she's so shy, and I don't think there's a lot of shy cartoon characters. Like in the cartoon world, things are more zany, usually over the top. So to have someone so pulled back, I feel like a lot of people relate to her, and I think she's special too. Chew on that for me.
I will chew on that as I select another question. Well, some of these have already been answered. Oh, do we have fresh questions? No, more being written down. Well, we touched on this a little bit as well, the fact that a lot of time goes by between your recording your performances and the final product airing for all of us to see and enjoy. How does it feel for you to see the final product, and especially when you realise that so many changes may have been made in the intervening period of time?
Do you know how many times I want to go back and change what I did after they show you an animatic? You're like, oh, I could have had more energy, or like, whoa, I should not have had that inflection. I should have had this inflection. That's real frustrating.
Yeah, well, I think it is kind of hard to watch your own performance. It also, does anyone like listening to themselves on their answering machine?
No. Or my recordings or anything else. Oh, it's awful.
So there's a little bit of that going on where you're like, really? Is that what I sound like? And really? You hired me to do that? So there's a little bit of that. And it's hard to keep up with things too, because they don't keep us in the loop. They don't say, hey, your episode's going to be airing or anything. So we don't even really know.
And then just to see the animation and how incredible it is, and because you might have seen it differently, even though you know the story, they do phenomenal things. The animators are just like, you go, wow, that is not how I saw it in my head.
Yeah.
Even though you know the whole story when you do an episode or when you do an animated movie, you get to it 2 years later. Like I have one that's and it's with Martin Short, who's a Captain special, and it's not you go, oh, they've edited in ways where you think that wasn't there when we recorded the story. They've moved it all around. It's incredible. It has music as well. It's fascinating to see what the others involved in the team do with the story, because you never know what it's going to look like in the end. You just kind of know what it kind of sounded like in your head, and it's like you said, do I really sound like that? Oh no!
Mitch just texted me and said, want anything from the barbecue shop?
Anyone want anything from the barbecue shop? Apparently, Miss Larson is
I'm just going to take back in capitals, no more
Barber.
Probably talking about spring.
Briskets.
Probably just talking about spring.
What's that?
It's just like a local barbecue place. It's the only thing in Texas, and it's awesome.
Yeah, there's a barbecue chicken.
It might be that too.
Is there anything in Texas that isn't barbecue? I stand corrected.
Bacon!
And I've lost control of the panel again. But did I ever have it? No, that's the illusion of it.
I like it. I feel like everyone just came alive.
Barbecue brings everyone together, just like My Little Pony. Barbecue is friendship, or barbecue is magic, or something. This is a question from John, whose first con it is apparently. Hands up if this is your first My Little Pony con.
Wow.
Good number of you. Thank you so much for coming out. John is curious. First con ever.
First one ever.
Awesome. Awesome. Question from John. I guess about sort of favourite shows. What shows do you wish that you could be on?
What did you say?
The Simpsons.
Oh, it's an animated.
Well, any show you like.
Star Trek, the new series. I still want to be. Oh, I still want to wear prosthetics.
Star Trek Discovery, folks watching it, folks enjoying it.
Man, Orville's better.
Enjoying it.
Go with the Orville.
Make it better.
They'd watch it if you were on it. Yes? So we had The Simpsons. What else? Star Trek. This came up in the Everyone panel, but you didn't have a chance to answered the question. So, if you hadn't pursued voice acting, what do you picture yourself having done? What career would you have pursued?
They say, this is what they say, whatever you spend your time watching YouTube videos on is what you are connected to in your life, and all I watch is videos of cute animals. And dolphins and whales, and like I love
So you'd
animals,
be a dolphin.
and I think I would have, exactly, I would have been a dolphin. No, I am a dolphin. I got rid of it later. It's like, I think I probably would have been I would have gone and saved the species of animals like elephants. I still want to go and volunteer with animals in the world in my spare time. I have done it a bit, but it's just so rewarding. I love animals. I really love animals because they love unconditionally and they're just there being loving and fabulous. And I would just want to be around that. Which is this.
Is that true what you watch in your spare time?
I know it's really wrong. I know people are like, bless you! Come and meet us at the whatever. And I'm like, I had a red carpet event in Toronto because I had a film opening, a film I was in, and it's the film festival in Toronto. And my friend's like, when are you getting here? The red carpet's only on for another half hour. I said, I'm in my pajamas watching animal videos. She was like, what is wrong with you? Yeah, that's me. Animal person.
What do you watch on YouTube, Foley?
Well, I certainly don't watch recordings of these panels with me hosting. Anyone else hosting is fine. We have time for a few more questions. I've got so many left here.
Do it.
These wonderful folks have an autograph session after one that I want to make sure they get to on time. So if your question wasn't answered here,
Also,
they may be able to answer it down
sorry,
there.
just to add to that, and we are heading to the airport quite quickly after. So if you are after an autograph today, please come to the beginning of the session. If you're going to hold off and come later, we might not be there. Yeah. Is anyone coming to autographs today?
Got a number of them.
All right. Good to know. Time is money.
Yeah, in that case, I want to make sure to get you there on time, so I'm going to ask a final question, which is just, do you have any questions for us, or words of wisdom that you would like to offer?
Yes. I would like to say thank you so much for being here and making it possible for us to come. It's such a pleasure to meet all of you. You guys are amazing. It's just been such a relaxing weekend, just getting the chance to speak to everyone and meet you, and you're all just incredible, and we love it. So thank you for having us. It's such a pleasure to be here. You guys are amazing.
Every time I'm here, I meet the kindest, most generous people I've ever met. So thank you so much. This con was so relaxing. Sometimes they can work us to the bone, but this has been like really good. I felt like our energy has been up, and everyone has been nothing but kind and generous. So thank you.
And thanks to the convention staff. Yeah, we can all give them a big round of applause.
Because it's my first My Little Pony convention. I've been to other conventions, but I've got to say, when I arrived, and when you use the word meet to meet you with the MEAT, where it exploded in my face, that's what I was, and then just the overflowing generosity. I know everyone from Twitter, but I don't know you in person, so I see your animatic, and I'm hugging everybody and trying to figure out who everybody is, and I've got to tell you something. This is exactly what the world needs. This is exactly who you need to be right now, with all of the darkness that we are surrounded with. There is so much light here. And thank you to all the organizers, to Bob and everybody, to Doug, my driver, and the people. It's just overwhelming to all of you who put it out there and been here to just make that light shine and make the world a better place. This is happening right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for coming.
Thanks for listening, and weren't those ladies great? This concludes Wheel Trouble's Nightmare Nights 2017 podcast series. Unfortunately, there will be no more Nightmare Nights podcasts from me, as Nightmare Nights is no more. Bob, we're looking at you. Didn't you pay attention to the show? This nightmare was supposed to last forever. At any rate, I'll see you guys as I do my readings through the Daring Do books. I promise I'm going to get back to those as soon as possible. Wheel Trouble out.